Good Monday morning to everybody out there. How are we all doing? This is Cletus Ray with Cletus Ray's Roadside Service. You clicked on it. You want to hear it. We got it. Okay? And let me tell you, here at the beginning of the episode, a lot of times if you're not interested at the beginning of the show, sometimes you got to skip around, okay? I don't expect everybody to listen to the whole episode at all, but I think if you're looking for the meat and potatoes, you got to skip around a little bit, and I promise later on in the sometimes it takes me a little while to get warmed up. Okay? I just got a comment uh from old Shane has tattoos. He's like, "You wonder why we listen?" 4747 on episode whatever the fuck. It was later in the episode. I'm like, yeah, that's me talking about being a porn star. If you guys want to hear about my history as a porn star, guy, you got to go back and look at that. I can actually tell you exactly what happened right here. Hold on. 460. Watch my short film. That is talking about my porno. I have a porno out on DVD right now. You guys can go rent it from Blockbuster, watch it. You got to go through the beads. You'll see it. It's me. I'm right there on the cover. You ask why we listen. 4747, laughing at things like this. What a guy. What a guy. I love comments. Stevie, 46 days ago, left a comment. That's my last comment. Okay, that's I've been itching my neck. I need me another comment. Uh, I don't know what it is. It's called episode 452. What's up, Chuck? 3322. Laughing faces. I don't even know what that's about. But if you're interested, you can go check it out. Spark plug 43472. Congrats to Levi on 446. He is my champion. Shane again, 449. Days of Cletus's life. That's when I did like a soap opera or something. He said, I don't know if it's an American thing or you were joking. Honestly, who the hell wipes their ass while standing? You're a freak of nature. Listen, let me tell you about it. It's not really standing, it's just lifting. You're just lifting your ass up off of this. You're not reaching down into the toilet. First off, I got things in the way that don't let me ergonomically bend over quite that far. Like a big belly, big brown sugar belly going on there. And but it's been my whole life. I mean, I was skinny. You don't believe me? You don't believe me? I was skinny once in high school. High school's a long time ago. 2009 is when I graduated. The last time I could ever say I was skinny, and I wasn't. I mean, I was super skinny in middle school. I was like skin and bones in middle school, and then I bulked up once I got in high school. Started working out. Found out that I like going to weight training class and whatnot. You know what? I should. Never mind. We're gonna get off topic here. Uh, Episode 447. Man, I laughed full out of tears, or full out tears. I had to pull over, and that's on 447. Kick the wagon. Great episode, and I don't want to. I don't want to leave anybody off, but Shane has tattoos is the next 4, 5, 6 comments. is Shane. So shout out to Shane. What a guy. What a guy! Shout out Sparkplug. Shout out Pink Toes. Shout out to Stevie V, my top commenters. Shadden. Hello there. I'm Shadden, a professional Spotify and Apple pod. Shut the hell up, Shadden. Nobody asked you. Get out of here, Shadden. Shadden commenting on 374. Get out of here, dude. Put the beds together. You didn't even listen. He gave me his WhatsApp number. I don't want that. Oh, and then I commented on my own thing, and I might have to resort to doing that. Don't open the door yet, bitch. Hey, there's some cars pulled over. I came around the corner. Cars pulled over on the. They were ready to get out of the car. All right, this is not good. I'm about to be going 45 miles an hour. You guys need to hurry up and pass. They're trying to get on the highway. Get on the highway. Get on the highway. I got to get back over that slow lane because I'm going way too fucking slow. Coming back over. There we go. Everybody, make your way around. Slow trucks ahead. Come on around. Slow as hell. Did we have a good weekend, everybody? By the sounds of it, you can hear that I did. I did have a good weekend. Was it an exciting weekend? No, not really. But it was a good one. I didn't have to work at all. I was able to hang out with the kids at home. They got this little match game that they got from Christmas. We got it all the pieces popped out and whatnot. All right, we're doing 39. We got a downshift. 8th gear. Come on. Let's pull this hill. Let's pull the hill. All right, yeah, just fly on by, rude like. Okay, come on by. I'm giving it all she's got, everybody. You know what? There's nobody in the other lanes. You don't have to be behind me. Okay, let's just keep that in your mind, people back there. I'm teaching people that trucks go slow uphill every day that I do this run. Okay, you see how slow I went uphill? Do you see that I'm going faster now that we're going downhill? That's how things work. Heavy, big trucks go slow uphill, and we go faster downhill. It's just some information you all should know. I know it's got a powerful Cummins under the hood right here. Okay, this thing can pull a house, but not uphill at 70 miles an hour. Okay, we're not doing it uphill at 70. I wonder, what do you think weighs more, a house or this tanker load here? 80,000 pounds. When you really think about it, there's some houses in my neighborhood that don't weigh probably 30. They're pretty light. Pretty small little house. My house, I don't know. When you think about all the siding and all the timbers, I'm not talking about the shit inside of it, but it's a heavy house. It's a heavy duty house. Anyways, I don't know why I was talking about that. Shout outs to the commenters. I would love to shout out some other commenters, but hey, say, hey, don't shout this comment out. I just want to leave a comment to make you feel good. I don't want all the attention. I don't want to get famous. Let me know, and I won't shout you out, okay? Because I know how that feels. I don't want to be famous either. I just want commenters. Do I want to be famous? No. I would be kind of cool, maybe get me a convertible or something, drive around. If I'm famous, what would I be famous for? Would it be the podcast, or would it be, I don't know, something crazy happened on the news and I show up, or I'm the reason the news is on the news. Have I ever been on the news before? That's a great question. I don't think so. At the one time, maybe. Well, not me, but something that I was involved with might have been on the news. Illegal activity. You know how I am. There was once a time I was a young kid, probably 10. Still young and innocent at 10. Played a lot of Grand Theft Auto, but that didn't come into play until I was about 13. Then I started stealing cars. But before that, I was a good kid. We had this one kid, I forget his name. It was a fucking weird ass name, Germanish type name. I don't know. He was a bad kid, but he did wild shit. So we'd go over to his house all the time. I remember one time I took my Hot Wheels cars over there, and he wouldn't let me take them back. That bitch. Okay, he stole my Hot Wheels cars. I brought them over there willingly to let's play with these Hot Wheels. These are good Hot Wheels right here. Let's play with them. And then he done took them. That wasn't on the news. What was on the news was this fucking crazy bitch ass motherfucker. His parents would just leave, and they would leave him home alone. And he would just run around the neighborhood doing bad shit. And it was fun to watch, not fun to be involved with. Anyways, we were out in the field out back. There's a church back there, and he had his dad's lighter, a little Zippo. And we thought it was so cool that he could flip the lid open and flick that thing and it would light up. Pretty fucking cool. No, not cool. Smoking's not cool, kids. He would try smoking cigarettes. But no, what he did was he burnt the dumpster down. Okay, they had a dumpster full of paper out behind the church, and he lit it on fire. Me and my buddy Jordan, we tried to put it out. We couldn't. We tried. We said, this ain't going out. We got to get the fuck out of here. And I learned a valuable lesson that day. Don't light shit on fire that you don't want to burn to the ground. Okay? Because that motherfucker burnt to the ground. I mean, I didn't particularly like that specific dumpster or anything, but I didn't want to be that type of a kid. You know, we had a bat. There was it was a plastic wiffle ball bat. We were trying to whack the flames out. Not happening. The lesson I learned is you got to learn. I listened to the Kenny Rogers CD, 8-track. You got to know when to run away. You got to know when to walk away. You got to know when to run. Okay, and we ran. That probably had nothing to do with that, but in my mind at that point in time. But I knew when to run away. So I understood those lyrics. That song's always held a spot in my mind and my heart. Know when to run away. Whenever you say you got to know when to run away, I think of me running away from a burning dumpster at the church. You got to know when to run away. And we went to his house, and we went inside, and we looked out his back window and watched the fire department show up. And they did a good job. They did a real good job on that. You could tell they were looking around like, who the hell did this? I was like, fuck, I didn't light it. I didn't light that dumpster. That was probably year 2001. 2001, me burning a dumpster down. Have I ever been on the news other than that? There was once a police chase. I was leaving work to go to lunch. Or no, I was just leaving work. and I turn on. I always listen to talk radio. I know it's weird. I'm an old man from a, I'm an old man. But I would listen to talk radio, and I turn it on, and they're like, oh, there's a police chase. It's going blah 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 over here and over there, and I'm like, that sounds kind of like where I'm at. And then all of a sudden, over the hill comes this fucking white Toyota Tacoma just flying, and I was like, God damn, that was. And then a whole slew of cops. I was like, Jesus, when you're watching a police chase, like the helicopter's got the police chase. They should have another helicopter or at least another camera looking at all the fucking cop cars. There's so many cop cars. They just kept flying over the hill. I was like, goodness, don't mistake me. I was driving my white GMC at the time, so it kind of, sometimes cops they might get mistaken. You don't want them to, but sometimes they do, and I've been mistaken before, so I understand. But they didn't try to chase me; they just kept going after him, and he ran for a while. But in one of those helicopter camera shoots, you can see my white GMC in it. So I mean, I was on the news. Don't send your fucking autograph shit to me, okay? I was on the news once. And there's probably some other pictures or something somewhere, but I don't know what those would have been for. Sometimes you get on the news. You don't even want to be on the news. You get on the news. You don't know what's going on. What if I'm waiting in line to vote and they got a camera out there? I don't know who's fucking taking pictures of me. Uh, yeah. So, anyways, what else do we want to talk about today? Conspiracy theories. I was thinking about this earlier. I rarely ever plan any content at all for any podcast whatsoever. It's usually I just turn it on and I just start going. I'm like, I'll figure it out. But this is when I was driving into work and I was like, man, what should I talk about today? Because I want to do something good. And I had a nice long night of watching conspiracy theories. Scrolling through Facebook on my phone. And I started thinking, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. And I like to call them just theories. And sometimes theories can be proven true with a hypotenuse and a hypothesis, and that's an educated guess or something. Science words. Uh, what's a conspiracy theory that I might be able to dig into? Do you guys know of any conspiracy theories? Now I know one, and I don't know, it's not a super exciting one, but fluoride. That's one. That's a weird one. It make you dumb. I was thinking about that while I was brushing my teeth this morning. I was like, man, they tell you they put fluoride in the water, and I still drink it. They tell you that I mean, right there on the tube, they say they got fluoride in the toothpaste, and I still brush with it. And I'm like, is that why I'm so dumb? And you know what? I think I have every right to pawn off my mental capabilities on toothbrushing and water drinking. So, I mean, that one's solved. No need to look any further. Okay? I didn't grow up underneath power lines. I did eat a couple of paint chips as a kid, but you know what? I'm thinking it was mainly the fluoride, But how do you know? All right, I'm lost here. Fluoride, not good. And I heard that people are starting to, people are going to start taking it out of the water. But we have a problem there. There's fluoride in every little drop of water everywhere. There's no getting rid of it. It's a forever chemical or some shit. I don't know. Apparently, you can get a filter. You can pay a lot of money to make yourself feel better and an anti-fluorider. It goes under your sink or something. But I ain't money bags over here, so whatever. Anyways, that's a dumb. I mean, it's not dumb. It's probably true, but it's not exciting. What's an exciting? Oh, I've been hearing about. You remember the Miami alien? Remember that alien in Miami? I heard that the particle collider over in Norway or Greenland or Switzerland, somewhere that gets cold. They have a particle collider. It's a big fucking circle thing. It's a HARP or something. I don't know. See, I don't know. I just hear little hints about this and that. But anyways, they were like, "Oh yeah, we had that particle collider and it fucked it up, and then it opened up portals to the devil, everywhere." And yeah, there was an alien at the mall, and that one is also still kind of unconfirmed. But I don't know. There's a lot of alien stories out there, and a lot of them are like, are they real? I don't know. I mean, they said the aliens, could be, are, I don't know if they said could be or they are. I don't know what they said, but they said something about aliens, the government, and the government, if they're gonna mention it, they're in there. They know what the aliens are doing. All right, we got aliens, okay. But anyways, that story's been coming back up, on my feed or whatever. Been watching a little bit of that. Uh huh. Yeah, have you ever had an alien experience? Something you can't explain happened to you, or something like that. One time I shit while I was throwing up. Don't know if that was aliens. Could have been fucking alcohol. It's just too. It's just too close to home. I can't tell. I can't investigate my own shit. I need somebody to come in and fucking tell me, was it aliens that made me shit my pants while I was bent over throwing up in the toilet? I was right next to the toilet. If I knew I had to shit, I would have sat down. But I didn't. I didn't know. I shit. I mean, all fours blowing out my ass. And I'm like, I should be sitting on this damn thing, not throwing up in it. Could have been aliens. Unexplained things that have happened to me. Let's think back. One time I had a bike tire explode in my face. Yeah. Don't know if that was aliens or me. I mean, I was there with an air compressor, but I ain't never blowed up a tire before. But I mean, I was over there, you know, air compressor, bike tire, kablam! You don't know what's happening after you blow up a bike tire in your face. Another time, I flipped over my scooter. I was riding my scooter. I knew there was a little bump in the concrete. It's like a little razor scooter, not electric. Just this was back in the day, and a little fold up, little riding scooter or whatever. And I went to bunny hop the curb, and I didn't bunny hop in time. But I felt like there's some sort of gravity holding me down, wouldn't let me bunny hop. Face first in the road. Didn't know how to let go. There's some sort of gravity pulled on to me by aliens. It's just a theory. Alien said, "You're not jumping right now, and you're not letting go of the handlebars. You're going face first into the concrete." Is it a lesson I'm supposed to learn? Is there a lesson there? I don't know. Another alien thing. I saw a B-2 bomber once. I've seen them quite a bit. Because out here in Missouri, they is one of the few places they actually land them fucking big ass planes. Um, a Whiteman Air Force Base. As I'm driving by Whiteman Air Force Base, and phew, a shadow went fucking across me, and I shit my pants, and I fell on the concrete. Could have been aliens. I'm late to the show, but just switching gears here. I don't have any more alien things going on. Let's switch gears. I'm late to the party, but Poverty Tour looks like a fun fucking time. And if you don't know what Poverty Tour it is Vice Grip Garage, Derek Barry, he runs that, and then the other guy from Roadkill, not Finnegan, the other one. Uh, and they set up this thing where they go out and they have like a burnout pad and a drag pit, and they talk about people's cars, and they're like, build the cheapest car you can and bring them out. And I'm like, I want to do that. I think I could do that. That'd be a lot of fun. But those are some fast ass, cheap ass cars. Those are some fast motherfuckers they got over there. But I was watching Derek or Vice Grip Garage yesterday, and I just stumbled across that video, and I watched it, and I was like, oh, I recognize a couple of cars out of that. And they're from Pole Barn Garage, which is here local to me. And, I've talked to him a couple of times. I don't know. I don't think he likes doing podcasts and shit. And also, I'm like, I'm a fucking nobody. You're not gonna gain anything from me. People might actually quit listening. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I just wanted to tell you that I watched a YouTube video. That's fucking dumb. Okay, Kletus, step it up. But here we go. My '96 Chevy Silverado, my very first truck I ever got. Let me tell you the story of how I obtained that, without getting into detail of how I received the funds. Super detailed. I was in a car crash. I was not driving. I was in the back seat. I was ejected from the car. Anyways, they gave me a bunch of money. They said, you know what? Yeah, it's the driver's fault. You get some money. Here's some money. And I got some money. And most of that money got spent on bullshit. But I took $5,000 of that money. And I wanted me a truck. And my dad was on Craigslist, helped me look. And I was on Craigslist. And then we found one. It was at a car lot. So we went down to the car lot. My dad kept trying to get me to get a Ford F-150. But I knew I wasn't a Ford guy at 16. I was like, I'm not interested in that at all, bud. Not interested in the F-150. Nope. He kept showing me him. He's like, hey, this one looks good. I'm like, no. I was like, I want a truck like that. So then we narrowed it down, and we were able to find me a truck. We went down to this little tiny car lot down north of Pleasant Hill. And just off the side of the road. We go in there, and they have two trucks. They have a lifted, I believe it was crew cab, but I could be off. But they wanted $5,000 for both of these trucks. They had a lifted crew cab 454. It looked fucking wrecked. I mean, but I was so into it. And then there was this other one. It was just a stock green Chevy 4x4, work truck edition, base model, I guess. Crank windows and, bench seat. Nothing special about it, really. But my dad talked me into it. He said, this is the one you should get. So I got that one. I got the green one. And I really wanted that 454. I think I test drove it. And my dad was like, no, this is not going to work. He's like, this is gonna break down. You're not gonna want this. And I like to think my dad was right, but in my mind back then, I was kind of upset to get the other truck. But I got the other truck, and I said, you know what? I'll make it nice. I didn't. I made it way worse, but I did drive it for a long time. So I picked up my '96 Chevy Silverado work truck. It wasn't work truck. It wasn't work truck edition. I think those are only single cabs, but it was base model, and it had a fancy radio in it, and it had dual exhaust. Other than that, completely stock. And yeah, I just remember driving it, and the steering was a little funky, so my dad took it in. We had to get it inspected, and he took it into this muffler shop next to my high school, and they dropped me off at school, and they said, "Oh, your truck will be done when you're off school. Just walk over there and get it." So I walked over there, and I walk in, and I'm like, "Hi, this is my name. I'm here for that truck." They're like, "We can just drop it off the lift if you want to take it right now." I was like, all right. They're like, "Okay, we'll just stop working on it then." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You're gonna come in here and start fucking bossing us around, tell us you need your truck right here, right now. We'll fucking drop it off the lift and send it with you, right, just the way it is." I'm like, "What? I just got off of school, man." You know, I was like, "What the hell?" I didn't see it. I didn't know anything was a problem. So they did. They took it off the lift, and I drove it home. And then I was like, "Yeah, there's something weird about it." So I took it. My dad looked at it, and then he took it up to the highway patrol because they do vehicle inspections also. They made him tow it. They wouldn't let him leave with it. They said, "You got to tow this fucking thing." So he towed it back to that muffler shop and went in there and cussed their asses out because I told them what happened. And yeah, they basically gave me they were doing a vehicle inspection. Like, I don't know what the hell. But anyways, he took it back to them. He called up the dealership. He was hot. He called up the dealership because you're not allowed to sell a car that doesn't pass inspection, at least in the state of Missouri. So he called up them. They had to pay like another $2,000 worth of front end parts to put on that truck, and then he cussed out the fucking workers there, and we ended up getting a different worker or whatever. But and then they almost had a damn bow on the hood for me when I walked out with it. My dad was a good man. Um, so anyways, I had a fresh truck. It had probably like 120,000 miles on it or so. But man, that truck, it needed them front end parts for what I did with it. I was out drifting that thing, doing burnouts everywhere, just revving the piss out of it, jumping it, um, just being a wild 16-year-old with a V8. But I didn't like. I wanted it. I wanted to do something to it. I can't just leave anything alone ever in my life. So we cranked up them fucking torsion bars, leveled it out a little bit. Um, and then I got new tires put on it. It was my very first set of brand new tires. They were like uh, dual. I don't know what the fuck they were. They were Firestone, or I don't know, but they were fuck. I wore those tires out. Like, I did so many burnouts. I wore out the rear tires, and I had to swap. Do a rotation, and then I had all bald tires. I'm just driving around on bald tires, and this was like months after I got the tires. I know, like, if you go to a burnout pit, obviously you're gonna burn them brand new tires down or whatever. But I mean, it only took a few months of me just ripping this motherfucker, and also the misalignment of the front end after cranking them torsion bars up was no good. But I had a buddy Josh He was part of the friends group. He worked over at the Cadillac dealership, and he said he's got a badass alignment machine. So I remember we took it over there, and he was like, "This thing is way the fuck out of alignment," and he was able to align it for me and everything. That's pretty nice of him. Pretty nice of him to do that. He almost killed me in his Dodge. You know, he had the Texas Ranger Dodge. When people think of a second gen Dodge, I think of like Twister or whatever. I think of Walker Texas Ranger because he had the dark, was it blue or gray, with the roll bar in the back, and he was drunk driving me around, and he decided he wasn't going to stop at the stop sign at the highway, and I swear we almost got fucking wrecked. But anyways, that's a different story. The 96. So, yep, met one of my girlfriends when I had that truck. Effed a lot in that motherfucker, you know. I don't know why I said effed and then said motherfucker, but I did. And I had my buddy Zach with me in it. Driving now, it was snowy out, and my buddy Tyler, he had a 4-wheel drive lifted single cab, long bed, 93 Silverado, I believe. But he put the newer grill on it and everything, and he redid the whole interior, you know. But anyways, we were out drifting in the snow, you know, 4-wheel drive, just drifting around, and I came in a little bit too hot. I was headed a little bit downhill, and I didn't realize that the road was going to curve like it did, and it was like a neighborhood or something, but they had a big-ass curb, and I'm coming around that corner completely sideways. I hit that curb perfectly, front and rear, and the truck damn near tipped the fuck over. You know, we hit that motherfucker hard. I had it up on 2 wheels, you know, and I was skinny at the time. Zach was fat. Zach came flying over and landed on me and I had a CB radio screwed to the dash, and he fucking yanked that motherfucker out. It was a wild fucking time. I was like, get the fuck off of me. Why are you not wearing your seatbelt, bitch? Like, what the hell? What else did I do? There was one time I was driving, and it was just dark out, and I thought I knew my way, and I came around a corner, and I ended up going into the oncoming traffic, and there was like that, you know, big-ass curb blocking, you know, you can't, it was like a 4-lane road, you can't really just jump the curb, but I did. I hammered that fucking curb, too. You know, that truck went through a lot. I spray painted the rims, don't know why, but I decided to spray paint the rims once. And so it looked like shit. I tinted my own windows, you know, go to O'Reilly and pick up a roll of tint, and then just try to tint your own windows. Looked like ass. I did have a tint shop put a brow on it, you know, a brow sticker. With it said Silverado across the front. It was pretty cool. I liked it. And then I'm trying to think of anything else I did to it. With the little bit of money I had left over from when I bought it, I bought a bull bar from 4wheelparts.com or something. Put that bull bar on. Got some KC lights. Put them in there. It was pretty cool. I was leaving summer school. I went to summer school every year, you know. But I was leaving summer school, and we were at a different school, and we were on a hill, and there's this other guy, and I think he had a square body. It was either a square body or first-gen Dodge. I don't really remember. Flatbed. And we were leaving, and he was ahead of me, and he rolled backwards into my truck and pushed my whole fucking bull bar up into my, you know, it didn't hurt the radiator, luckily, but it pushed it into my core support and everything. It fucked a bunch of shit up. And he for the longest time kept saying he was going to pay me for it. You know, never got that. but also, whatever. A little beat up, don't care. I backed a forklift into or no, I didn't back a forklift. I backed my truck into a forklift. I was working at the steel yard. There was a big sheet of ice where we parked our trucks, and I was backing up, and I hit the brakes, and it wouldn't stop, and I just kept sliding down the hill and fucking right into a forklift, busted out my tail light. Well, that's when we also bought the fucking tint for your lights or whatever. It's a little spray bottle of light tint or whatever. Spray painted those fucking things. They look like shit. Oh man, that was a good truck. I had somebody gave me a bunch of bullshit. It was like a brush guard, roll bar, and some side steps or something. And those rode around in the bed of my truck all the time. They eventually, I don't know whatever happened to those. I always wanted to bolt the roll bar up, but the roll bar, it didn't match up. I think it was for like a Ranger or something. My truck did get damaged a couple of times. Body damage. Well, there's one, somebody threw a 7-Up bottle. They had a 7-Up, they shook it up and they threw it way up in the air. And they wanted to see it, land and explode or whatever. And it landed right on the hood of my truck, Motherfuckers. Put a big old dent in the hood. Because it exploded when it landed, too. The major one was I was staying over at my girlfriend's best friend's house with her. We were all there. We were all going to go to the lake in the morning. So we all stayed the night over at this girl's house. But her dad, when he woke up, he had to go to work, and he backed up right into my truck. And I was parked across the street. And yeah, that was a weird one. I got real upset about that one. But they paid me. They paid me for it, so I was able to get that dent. Well, actually, they paid me. I was a little shit, okay? They paid me to fix the truck, and then me and my dad just banged it out with a hammer. And then, I don't know, months later, I don't know, me and my buddy were headed to his dad's house, and a bunch of deer ran through the road, and they ran right into the same spot. Yeah. So that quarter panel was a little fucked up for a while. I also had a dent in the front passenger side fender. I don't remember what happened to that. Maybe a basketball hit it, and then it was just a wobbly motherfucker ever since. Anyways, that was my first truck. When I sold it, oh yeah, I mean we did all kinds of off-roading with it. We got that thing stuck in the mud quite a bit. But anyways, when I sold it, I was in a little bit of legal trouble because I had got pulled over in it when I was a little bit under some sort of an influence, alcohol, and had to pay a lawyer somehow, so I sold it for I think $4,200. I did way more than $800 worth of damage to it, so I made out ahead, I guess. I sold it. Missed that truck for a long time, but I sold it for $4,200. Paid the lawyer. I had a little bit of money left over, and I got out of complete. I was 18, so it was all. Everything got wiped. If I followed their rules, and I did, and I bought me a Ford Ranger. Didn't really want a Ford Ranger, but It was a 5-speed, and I thought that was cool. So I went and I bought this 5-speed Ford Ranger, put a clutch in it, drove the piss out of it, sold it for like $1,200, and then I took that $1,200, and that's when I bought my first square body. Then the square body got stolen, and then I got another truck. Then that truck broke down, and then the square body came back. I drove the square body for a while, and then it needed tires. Or it was a little fucked up, so I sold it to a buddy, and then I bought an S10, and then that's when I met my wife. I had the S10, and then the S10 started fucking up, and I bought the square body back, and then the square body needed tires, so I sold the square body, and I sold the S10, and I bought a Suburban. Then I had the Suburban for a while until I didn't like it anymore, and then I bought the white GMC, and I drove the white GMC until we got pregnant, and then bought a Chevy Cruze, and then I did not like the Chevy Cruze, so I bought a truck. I bought the 92 that I got now, and I sold the 92 to my brother. And I bought the square body I got, and then I wanted the 92 back because my brother didn't want it, so I sold the Cruze and bought and now I got the 92 and the square body sitting at the house, and then I got the dirt bike also. That's my lineup of cars. Am I missing some in there? Yeah, before my very first car was a 96 Ford Thunderbird. Piece of shit. Well, it wasn't. I made it a piece of shit. And actually before that was a 89 Ford Thunderbird Super Coupe, but that one didn't. I drove it one time. And my filler car during those times was our minivan. We had a Ford Aerostar minivan. That thing was a fucking runner, I'll tell you. Ford Aerostar. Electronic four-wheel drive. Anyways. Alright, well, I hope I gave you guys a little bit of a story. If there's any part in there that you guys want to hear more about or anything, let me know in the comments. I'm going to let you guys go. I got some podcasts to listen to. Adios. Keep all 18 down. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.